mess this up very, very badly, like to the point where it's they miss 4 or 5 questions and it shouldn't because they get it left and right mixed up. Because I'll use a heart on the test and I'll go like this, and they go, well, that's the left heart and that's the right. It's not like that. Because this is considered the septum, and down your nose you have a septum. Right? The nose septum divides out between the left nostril and the right nostril. That's how it works. But that's not how it's cut. It's not cut down the septum. It's actually cut this way. Right?
So it's more like the front and the back.
Yeah, that's correct. It's from front and back. That's correct. It's cut that way. So then if you do that, then you get a whole heart on the test, and you have to name all these arteries. Then sometimes people get in trouble because then they go, well, I can't tell which artery goes to where. Well, I'm going to show you that this is the posterior side because of the fact that we already said there. This is not considered left and right, but this is actually considered left and right, as if we were to chop it straight down the middle with the septum, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were to consider this down the middle, then that would mean that there's only one blood vessel on the left side. So that would be, this side would be your left, and if you turn it around, that would be your left one, right? Mm-hmm. So if I stick my finger in here on this left side, this is called the pulmonary vein. And the pulmonary vein goes all the way through. And then on the other thing on the back side is the vena cava. And I'm going to go from back to front, these 3. So vena cava, which actually goes to the right side. And then it goes aorta, which is in the middle. And then finally the pulmonary artery. Okay. So then if we were to open this up on the inside, I'm going to re-show all of it one more time just to kind of refresh. What students get mixed up is they go, well, this is left heart, right heart. That's not how it works. The septum determines left and right.
That's correct.
Yeah. And the valves determine top to bottom. So if the valves determine top to bottom, that means this represents the top part, and this from the valves below. So these are valves. We'll see a heart surgery video on it. Will represent bottom. So if this is the top part from here to here, these are called atria. And if it's from here to here, that's ventricles. And this is the septum that divides between left and right. So the saying goes between learning between these valves is you try before you buy. You try before you buy because you always have blood draining from the right side, then all the blood goes to the left side. So if this is the right side and this is the left side, then you try before you buy. Another way to do it is try rhymes with right. Try and right. Okay?
Mm-hmm. So does buy. Interesting.
Then you use the try before you buy thing. Okay?
Just remember to
Now,
closer to R.
you still mess this up. Still one other way to know. If you go, this is the septum and this is considered middle.
See, I don't see a septum.
A big middle piece. Like
That the whole thing?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the septum.
Oh, you kept doing it with your finger, and I kept thinking there's an imaginary line I wasn't
No.
seeing.
This piece,
Wow,
this piece to this piece is septum.
Okay, I got that. Makes so much more sense now.
So then the septum goes like this.
Fun to tell.
If this is the septum, that's the middle.
Okay.
You go, the bigger side is always the left side.
See, I would have known that answer.
So then you go, if it's mirror imaged, right? You go, you don't do it
So
backwards.
the right is really the left over there.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you're
In your
Your
saying-
side.
This is the left
trying
side.
to flip. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my right is really my left.
On that particular.
On that,
Just so you
Yes.
know.
the right is my left. Is the left.
I don't.
Like this is the right, but it's really the left.
I don't know if I'd do it like that. I would go with the big side is the left side.
Right.
I understand, but I'm
The
just
small side is the right side. And the reason why the big side is bigger is because it has to squeeze hard enough and need enough muscle tissue to go to the system. Then the blood that's deoxygenated flowing to the right side doesn't need that much power because it's just draining in, right? How much force do you need to drain or to fill up a carton of milk, right? It's the getting the milk out of there is the hard part. So that's why it needs to be pumping harder, right?
More muscle.
More muscle, right? So then once more you put it together, just a quick review, and then we go over a couple more details. We always go we always go, if we divide this in half, there's three things, right? Then this thing on the left is the pulmonary artery, so it matches up. So my finger always goes to the pulmonary vein, and it matches up with the large side of the left, right? Pulmonary vein, because all the oxygenated blood's going to go here to squeeze it out to the aorta, which is this one in the middle. Then the deoxygenated blood that actually drains all the blood from basically top half of your body is the vena cava, which is why it correlates with the small side. Then it becomes very, very easy. This is the vein. This has to be the artery. The one down the middle has to be the aorta.
I have a question. What is this gray part right there?
They call this the auricle. The auricle means the ear, right? So they thought this part looks like somebody's ear. And then there's another part of the auricle, ear. And then if you wonder, well, that's the aorta, what's this? Well, you got to remember that they shaped everything so close, and then it becomes part of the. It's still part of the aorta. There's a branch of it called the brachiocephalic trunk. Do you remember that? Yeah. They just shaped it so close. So then we look at a couple more pieces on the inside. We can see the aorta here. You have the electrical system going down the middle septum and will cause depolarization of the muscles to the right and the left. This huge muscle that you see that will depolarize is the papillary muscle. Papillary muscle. Papillary muscle, once it depolarizes, will contract and pull this string, which is actually going to be on the test, is the chordae tendineae. The chordae tendineae will be pulled and will pull which valve? Down to open the atria. So what is this valve called?
Mitral.
You try before you buy. Mitral or bicuspid, that's fine.
Yeah.
Either way. So bicuspid valve will pull down, and then we said everything above it is the atrium, everything below is the ventricle. So then from here to here is your atrium. Left atrium. From here to here is left ventricle. From here above is right atrium, here to here is right ventricle. So if I stick a pin in here, right ventricle, right atrium, left atrium, left ventricle.
What was it, pulmonary?
Pulmonary what?
You said something right before I came over. You were over in this area.
The
Saying
pulmonary
something.
valve?
Pulmonary valve is down in here, but it's been cut.
Okay.
The way I'm going to test that is here.
Okay.
Pulmonary artery or pulmonary vein. So this would be the. So just as a repeat. So what do you think this is? Pulmonary vein. Yeah.
Vein.
Then that would be very easy, and this side would be.
Artery.
Yeah. And then the one in the middle.
Aorta.
Yeah. And then finally this big hole. Vena cava. Yeah.
That's the one I keep getting.
Now the reason why on
Vena?
the test I'm just going to have vena cava and not a superior and inferior, like they showed in the cadavers, because that lady, they said there was a lady that put her finger all the way through. There's a superior and inferior vena cava in the humans, but in the animals that walk on their fours, because it's this way, there is no like that. It's because it's horizontal now. And then you can't really call it superior, inferior.
Right.
Right.
And then even worse, because they cut the whole thing all the way down to the hilt. Now there's no superior inferior. We'll just call it vena cava. So unfortunately, there's about 2 inches of extra heart that they cut off, and you would have been able to see each hole easier.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Because that's all this thing for us.
Yeah.
Things. You know.
So
You know what I mean.
then a couple extras that I might have on the test is the coronary sinus. Coronary sinus will actually have the right coronary artery and left coronary artery, which is why they go, oh, you had a heart attack. What they actually had the heart attack on is usually the coronary artery, because it supplies most of the heart.
Right.
And then basically, what else? Sometimes I test the auricles as a bonus. The sinus is what I usually test. Oh, I know what I test is the sulcuses, because this is
Right
left,
split.
this is considered left, this is considered right, and you don't do it backwards. Then this sulcus is the posterior interventricular sulcus and the anterior interventricular sulcus. And what that'll do is it'll carry the arteries from the coronary down the back and then down the front. That's what the sulcuses are for. They carry arteries.
Right.
Okay.
But since they chopped it all off, the arteries fell off too. Yeah. And all you're left with is the sulcus. There you go, yeah. So they're just
Okay.
call surfaces.
And we're going to go over this again next Thursday, right?
Yeah, before the test.
Okay.